This is Gary Johnson then, at the start of pre-season. Gary, I understand it's been quite a sort of tough start. How deliberate is that? Because obviously, I suppose you want the players to be ready to step up and need them to be ready.
Yeah, we do need them to be ready. I look at it a little bit like a boxer preparing for a world title fight. You know, he has sort of 6-7 weeks where he has to do everything he can to make sure that he don't get knocked out when his fight comes along, and that's what we have to do. We've given them lots of work to do during the summer. I'm pleased to say that everybody looks like they've come back and done a bit of work, because it was quite a hard morning already. So I'm pleased about that, and it just means that we can gauge it now. Although we've only come back today, they all look like they've sort of done a really good week beforehand. So I'm pleased with that, and we're going to need to do that so that we don't get knocked out in the first week of the season, when you lose a couple of games and get beaten in the cup, and all of a sudden your season's been a really poor start. So our focus is going to be making sure that we are 100% ready. You can't get more than 100%. Some people say 110 and all that. 100% ready for the start of the season.
Because it's all about keeping that momentum going, isn't it? If you can do that, then you can set up a really good season again.
Yeah, the momentum is really important, and also we can concentrate on the fitness, for the simple reason that all the philosophies and principles that I needed to get into them last year, they all know now. There'll only be sort of 2 or 3 new lads that we'll have to get on board quickly, but it's not a whole group that we have to teach what Gary Johnson and Cheltenham Town are all about. Most of them already know it, happy with it, otherwise they wouldn't be here now, they'd have gone somewhere else. So I'm pleased that they're all, or 99% of them are all here and want to give it another go.
And obviously you've talked about wanting to get last year's loanees back in, and there's a waiting game to be played there. Are you still getting sort of positive sort of hints and conversations about the possibility of that happening again?
Well, it's a bit early to get the real positives about getting people back, because in 2 of the clubs new managers have gone in, and I'm sure that they're going to want to see all their squad, all their pros at the start of pre-season. So I was patient last year and we come up trumps, and hopefully if I'm patient again this year we can do the same. But meanwhile I've got to be looking for replacements in case we don't get those lads back, and we've got a couple of lads training, we've got a couple of other options that we might look at, and I've just got to get the timing right of when I have to make the ultimate decision.
So have you got a couple of trialists in here today then?
We have. No one likes the word trialist, because I like to say that we've got a couple of people looking at us rather than us looking at them. It makes them feel a bit better. That's how I get them in anyway. You're looking at us.
And there's a grey-haired chap out there as well, Aaron Downs. How's he progressing from his return from injury?
He's progressing well. I think he was up in the top 3 or 4 in the running today, but that was straight running. At the moment he can't do deviation running, but he's obviously worked very, very hard in the summer. What you know is, with Downsy, is that when his injury's ready, he's ready, because physically he keeps himself in really, really good shape, and you can trust him. You haven't got to worry about him. It's some of the others you have to keep an eye on.
Is there a time frame on his return yet?
No, we'll leave that to him. He basically knows it's always 9 months, a cruciate injury. Anything before that is probably 8.5 months, a couple of weeks earlier. But he's one of them good healers, so hopefully he'll be ready before the normal man gets ready from an ACL.
Thank you.
No problem.
I think we're 9 days before the first friendly game. You've obviously got no goalkeepers on the staff at the moment. Is that something that you'll look to rectify with maybe trialists for those games, or?
Well, if you look over your shoulder there, I gave Callum Kitchker and Reece Lovett the opportunity to go and find themselves first team football, being cruel to be kind. I wanted to keep them at the time because I felt that they needed games. I don't know if I'm talking out of turn yet, but we're hoping to go into this reserve league situation. So I've asked Callum and Reece to come back because they want to both stay full time. I think both of them would only get part-time football at the moment, and they were happy to do that. So at the moment we have got 2 goalkeepers that will be with us for the season. Kitchka will sign a contract now because I still think there's a good goalkeeper in there, and he just needs games, and the same as Reece. Reece is only 18, 19. So I'm pleased they decided to come back, but I did give them that opportunity to go and find pastures new, but they decided to come back.
I'm trying to look over my shoulder to see if Bobby Dale and Adam Page are here.
Yeah, Page is training. He's worked well, but Bobby Dale is still injured, so he's on a rehabilitation course.
But both are still in the thoughts if they can get fit and show you what they can.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. They got to prove their fitness, and you know how long. I think Pagey is proving it being out there now. Bobby, we'll have to see what the doctor says. I think he's got to have an injection next week, and we'll just have to see how that goes when we get the full information.
Excluding the loan at 3 that you're obviously very keen to get back, is there any other movement that you're hoping to make in terms of bringing other players in?
Well, it depends on what comes up, really, James. Do you know what? I really want this group, because I spent all last season, I know I've said this before, telling them that I'll get you in the league, and I'll give you that opportunity to get more league games for those that hadn't been in the league, gets them in the league, and I want to. And they got their promotion because that was in their mind all the time. So I want to give these first chance of playing in the league. And so I haven't put letters in the bin. I've kept them on file just in case. We learned from last year in class. I've kept a few names back. Pete's still got a few names, because if it doesn't work out come the end of August and we think we're not strong enough, then we'll have to make decisions then. But these lads deserve the opportunity with 1 or 2 extras, inclusions, and that will come about just naturally anyway.
Is it almost a case of keeping your powder dry, because when it gets to the end of August, there's probably going to be a few still looking to fix themselves up, and without the loan period, you need to have sort of an ability to be able to change your squad still at that point?
No, we've got to do that, and we've got to have enough pros around that, because you can't get the emergency loan now, so we've got to make sure that we've got enough people around. And as far as keeping me powder dry, you ain't helping me. Just keeping me out in the rain.
Well, you're the one that's got the new covering. How long's that here to stay for?
Well, I'm hoping it goes long enough that I'll be able to comb it over and cover up my ball patch.
Excellent.
No problem.
Cheers, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.